Hello everyone, welcome to Nobel Podcast episode. It's going down in minutes very fucking quickly.
That's his
44
terrifying.
minutes.
43
minutes. Oh my god.
39.
Nobel Podcast episode 251. We don't know how long we've got left, much like on this planet. We've lost,
Every single minute.
We've lost an hour in...
Oh, you see, it went down 3 minutes, 39 minutes.
Oh my god.
Oh, this is terrifying.
It is terrifying. But welcome once again to No Blah Blah Podcast. Hopefully the time in our lives balances out. I am George, that is Connor. We talk about pop culture on the internet because it's never been done before. And it will hopefully never get done again.
Hopefully, here's hoping.
We have some stuff to talk about. We had a trailer for a BBC TV show called Doctor Who. David Tennant's in it.
Maybe. Oh, yeah. He could get mistaken for someone else.
We're all David Tennant in the end. It's worrying how much that's dropping. It's fucking scary. It's good. So basically what happened last time is the hard drive was somehow full, even though we don't know how, because every time we record we don't save the files. No. We just export it immediately and then delete the save file. We had like an hour to talk about Three Guardians films, but we somehow did it quite well.
Yeah, we didn't manage to be. Yeah.
And after a quick reboot and now running Audacity software off of the external hard drive, which is now counting down fucking ferocious. Like we started it said 53 hours and 20 minutes, and we've lost an hour. We've been speaking for 2 minutes 25 seconds. Oh, here we go. Wow, lovely. So we'll run it as quick as we can. I need to basically just get a new big hard drive for the computer, just to actually put in it. But, you know, I'm not a techie man, so help us, Obi-Wan Kenobi. What else happened? I watched Air today. That was very good. We can actually talk more spoilery on Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Yeah.
We can also debate... you know, who the best PC maker in the world is, because it's not this fucking one, is it?
Charlatans, Asus, more like anus.
More like and a Fast and Furious trilogy is
Say what?
Oh, don't even fucking get
if
me.
you smell what the Rock is cooking, because he wants some of that cash.
If you smell what this cock is cooking, fucking don't stop making these fucking movies.
Unless he's there to cancel Fast and Furious as well, just like he did the DCEU and the hierarchy of power that was going to change the landscape.
To be fair to Dwayne Johnson, the hierarchy of power did change in the DCEU.
But not in no one's favour.
Because it changed and he was then unemployed.
Hey. And now he's come. The Rock has come back home to the movie franchise that kind of made him
mainstream, I think.
Yeah, and not just the actor.
He was a name. He was a
he was a somebody.
Shall we talk? Let's touch on Fast and the Furious. Oh, gently, darling.
The speed limits black boxes are installed in this.
Fucking yeah, man. You know what? Like having a black box. Sensible head saves you a hell of a lot of money. So if I had to drive slowly for like 2 years.
Oh boy.
I saved like fucking 1,200 quid. So fuck you guys. I'm the real winner. I'm the main man, the head honcho. Like, isn't it like I hate when we talk about our real. Oh my god, it's gone up to 54 hours. What? It's
gone up. Time's gone backwards.
Time has flown by, Ace.
God.
I hate when we talk about our real world life. But I had to get a new car because, as Connor saw, I had a tiny automobile and I have a child. So now we basically got the big family car. And I was worried about changing my insurance over because I'd literally just paid for it on that one, gone through the process of the new one. But then I knew I was like, I don't have to pay the whole thing. It's just like I have to pay the difference, like it is to go up. And the difference was hard. So I was given like a 75 quid refund from my original insurance claim anyway. So in total, and putting my other half on it, who's was basically learning up until she gave birth, because she was like, I can't fit in the car or turn round anymore because I am 9 months pregnant. I shall stop.
God.
So having her on it as well, like she, it's like 650 quid for the year, and I was like, I am so good. I'm so good at life. Those
life hacks.
Just drive normally. Because I've now been driving for 7 years. I was 19.
7 years.
8 years nearly.
Blimey.
Well, how old am I? 8 years.
8 years.
Yeah. 7 years no claims because someone rammed into the back of me on a roundabout. But all that good driving done me well because I no longer needed a black box like 3 years ago, and insurance is cheap. Road tax, on the other hand, fuck that sky high.
Yep.
Because when I went to pick up the car, I was like, "Oh, should we tax the vehicle now?" And I literally went, "I'll be honest with you, I completely forgot that I had to pay for that." 170 quid. Fuck that.
No,
it's horrible.
Not fun.
It's horrible. But 2030, we've all got to start buying electric, so, you know. Yeah, that's going to fucking work, government, isn't it? Remember when they announced that, like, 3 or 4 years ago? All cars that are purchased after 2030 will have to be electric. Cool, what's happening with that?
Brilliant. Yeah,
Nothing. Radio silence.
Yeah.
The only thing with that is, though, the battery packs only last, like, 10, 15 years. So then you buy a new battery pack, which is, I believe... It's come down a bit, but at the time it was like 15 grand.
Compare the market.com.
I think it's either just above or just under on some models now,
wow.
like the £10,000 mark, which isn't
only.
Yeah, which isn't great, but it's getting there. It's because like
it's half an achievement.
To talk about the economy, which is fucking strange for us.
What's going on?
But you have to make more of things to then make it cheaper. So like the more electric cars.
In maths lesson, positive and a positive makes a negative. In case of money.
But 3 rights make a left. So the more batteries and battery operated cars that are on the road, the cheaper the overall, you know, mechanics and buying new ones will be, because as you know, to quote Air, the instant that you make more of something, the value depreciates. So that's what we need. We just need loads of electric. We need millions of. We need 400 million Sontaran equipped electric cars, and the price will come down 400 million times.
Good luck with that.
Yes.
Good luck with that.
It's the fact also that they're hardly affordable as well, because like electric cars are still. I know some of the smaller ones are more in the price range of a normal small car. But like, because how much did you pay for your first car? If you don't mind me asking, mine was 2,200.
Mine was an old banger. I got it for 800.
You smart. I should have done that, but I was like, I went just above, and then I spent like 2.5 on my insurance first year. Fuck that. You know what I mean? And yeah, and they're all sort of like there is no old banger. Equivalent of electric cars.
No, there isn't. There
isn't like cheap second-hand ones even really, because they're still like 9, 10 plus.
It's just AAA. It's AA batteries or AAA battery. What do you want? Take your pick.
One's a good night. One's a really good night. Yeah, Fast and Furious, because we're talking about cars.
Yeah, vroom vroom.
Vroom vroom in my room. In my room. So the European premiere for Fast X.
Fast X.
Does it annoy your OCD that all these films have a different name, even though they're the same franchise?
So you have
Fast 5.
Yeah, the Fast and the Furious. Too Fast, Too Furious. Is it the Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, or is it just Fast and Furious?
I think it's the's for Tokyo, and then they drop the there's.
Yeah, just Fast and Furious
for 4.
Fast 5.
Then they call it Fast. Like, even though they've got the full name ones, but Fast 5.
Fast and
Furious 6.
Yeah.
Furious 7.
Furious 7, yeah.
F8.
It sounds like a spin-off to Magnificent 7.
F8, which was good.
F8.
Because it was the fate of the Furious.
Yeah.
Fast and Furious 9 it was still Fast and Furious 8 Fate of the Furious in some places.
Yeah,
like, what the fuck?
F8 Fate of the Furious.
And then Fast 9.
Yeah, just Fast 9.
Was it Fast 9 or Furious 9? Or FF? No, it was FF9, wasn't it? Do you remember the posters in City World? Do you remember them?
There was FF9.
It was like FF9. Because
I see you got one that just says F9 the Fast Saga.
I think the early ones were FF then.
Fast and Furious 9 the Fast Saga.
It was Fast and Furious 9, but it was F9 because then this is now Fast X.
Fast X.
Part 1 of a 3-part trilogy.
Dun 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 dun.
Because Vin, I am Groot, I love you guys, Diesel.
Yes, and that part is sincere. He does love you guys.
Yeah. I think I'm at the point now where I can only stand Vin Diesel and stuff if it's not
related to family.
Related to family. Did you see the kid on the red carpet for Guardians 3 that shouted, "Dom, it's all about family," and he shouts it back, and I was like,
"Does he?"
That's quite cute because it's a 9-year-old boy shouting it at you, not some adult man
or some awkward nerd like one of us, going like,
"Oh, not look, like one of us
trying to make our mark in history." Oh, look, I've met him, Groot. He's about family.
Yeah, on the European red carpet, the European premiere of Fast X, he said this, because obviously for a long time it was all right, another trilogy, and then we'll end it, and then F8 to 10 was meant to be a trilogy, even though it wasn't because Charlize Theron's in 8, and then she's somehow now the Thanos
villain.
of this thing.
She is inevitable.
She's in it, but Jason Momoa's the bad guy, right?
In 10, I'm assuming so, yes. Yeah, I'm assuming
because
so.
He's been very, like, I'm going to blow this up in trailers, and it's like, you go once, I think maybe still Aquaman.
She has a fight with Michelle Rodriguez.
I think she's in it for a bit, but she's leading, because Fast 10 was then like, all right, it's going to be the last one, but then it was like, we've got to do it in 2 parts. But we got to the point now where it's 2 parts, but much like Infinity War and Endgame, they are.
We need to top it and make it.
They are 2 different films, so they are 2 different. Yeah. So it is Fast X, and I'm presuming Fast 11, because they're not going to call this Fast X
Part 2, and Part 3,
because they've not had that anywhere. And
no.
From what I've heard of the screenings, it's not listed in any capacity as Fast X Part 1.
Good. Okay.
It's probably going to end with a to be continued, especially when you take into account the post-credit scene.
Yeah.
So but he said he showed this one to the studio Universal and said they enjoyed it so, and said like they liked it so much that can you make this part 1 of a trilogy?
A trilogy.
So we're ending with a trilogy, which makes sense because in a roundabout way, we are ending with
in a lot of roundabouts.
On a lot of roundabouts, we are ending with a 3rd trilogy. 4th trilogy, sorry.
A 4th, yes, I was going to say, yeah.
Sorry, 4 times 3 is 12. 12 divided by 3 is 4, kids.
Every 4th movie's the good one?
I like.
That makes sense.
We went over these for 8, didn't we?
I believe we did. Yeah, way back when. Yes.
We ain't doing them again. Hobbs and Shaw, probably one of the
best
better
thing
ones.
about it. The only reason I started to watch them, and I was so devastated.
It was Hobbs and Shaw, wasn't it? We did it for
that's when I got committed to it.
That came out just before 8 because no one was crossing over between the spin-off and we go. See, we remember our old content.
Memorize.
Do it, Andy. You can tell we're wasting so much more time than we did last week because we've got 53, maybe 54, maybe 70.
It's gone up.
Oh dear, it went limp. So 1 to 3, good trilogy. When you think about it, very early 2090s style. No,
unpopular opinion.
Tokyo Drift is really good.
To retrospect my previous opinions, I liked 2 and 3, 1 and 4, boring. Now, very rare my opinions do change, but I like number 1 quite a bit. 2 and 3 are a good waste of my bloody time. Tokyo Drift is fine.
I really like the 3.
It's not as good as I remember it.
But as that trilogy, that's okay. And then you do 4, 5, and 6.
Oh, good.
Definitely gets better as it goes on because 4 is almost like a soft reboot.
It is
kind of the whole thing of like we're going back to how it was.
But it feels like a proper sequel to number 1.
It does.
Yeah, because 2 is just a run around and 3 is another run around.
What Superman Returns does to Superman 2.
I suppose.
It ignores the 2 that came before it.
The other ones. Yeah.
I really like 5 is obviously when they cement that style and go forward with it.
Yeah.
I think 5 and 6 are the peak in terms of that franchise. I think 7, under the circumstances, is very well made and is a beautiful ending for that character. Even though they're still going to fucking bring him back.
He's back!
He's back again. We fucking got him again.
Scarecrow. Scarecrow's the villain, so Charlize Theron's playing Scarecrow because it's nightmares. It's nightmares.
7, 8 and 9.
Yeah.
7 is... like I said, good under the circumstances. I really enjoyed 8.
I was going to say, 8 is like top 3 for me. I think 8 is great.
I think it's top 5, definitely. I really enjoyed 8, and 9 was a piece of shit.
I don't fucking remember it.
I forgot it as I
and
was
John
watching
Cena's
it.
young face.
It was like how many more secret siblings can we get? In this. How many people can we... Let's be honest and try not to be offensive. How can we get John Cena to darken up a bit to look like he's related to Dominic Toretto? Because this is clearly a very white person related to someone who is not white. But we're going to be slightly less offensive than they were in the 60s. It's like, fucking hell. Like, John Cena's good in it, and he's in this new one. And I looked...
Is he... I couldn't even see him, and I'm not even trying to excuse the pun that I just... When I saw the trailer recently, was he even in the trailer?
He's I think, in a little
bit. In all seriousness.
You know when they do the pull-out and they pull through the cars in the lineup? He's in one, I think he's in one of them.
He is there. Okay.
Because obviously now they're family and they're friends. Because obviously, you know, Hobbs turned from villain to hero. Shaw turned from villain to hero.
In a weird way.
Now John Cena has turned from villain to hero because it's all about family. And Jason Momoa, no doubt, will turn heel in Fast and Furious 12 and fucking help them to defeat Charlize Theron.
He'll turn face. He'll
He'll probably already be on their side anyway.
Yeah.
And they'll be fighting Dwayne Johnson. They'll make Paul Walker the villain of number 12. Brian will be the bad guy all along. It was Brian.
It was a big FBI sting job the whole time.
They'll put Ryan Reynolds back in from Hobbs and Shaw back into this, but he'll be doing an impression of Detective Pikachu going, "Oh, that's very twisty."
It's very twisty. And Kevin Hart will be the key to save the day.
What?
He'll be the I am Kevin.
He'll be the Ebony Moore.
The Ebony Moore.
Oh God! Oh, it's a piece of shit. I'll see it though. I will see it. What was I going to talk about? Yeah.
I don't even know.
I will see it because I'm vaguely intrigued. Yeah. So John Cena was at the red carpet and Brie Larson was very excited to see him.
I forgot. Is she even in it?
She's in it. Yeah.
She was in 9, wasn't she?
No, she was added to 10, wasn't she?
I thought she was in the last one.
I really can't remember the last one. So
Again, who cares?
Yeah, that goes for you at home.
That's go for you at home.
Yeah. So because Brie Larson was talking about, but she was just really excited to be in it. John Cena was just like, I'm still here for some reason.
And you can see me, even though I'm barely in the trailer.
And I don't remember seeing any interviews with Charlize Theron, but
I'm in the movie because I'm in the movie.
But Dwayne The Rock, now no longer The Rock, maybe The Rock someday again, Johnson, has, spoilers, been confirmed to be in a post-credit scene for Fast X. And then come out and said in an interview, this was always the plan. This was always the plan because there's unfinished business between Luke and Dom.
Good. Well, as long as Hobbs and Shaw 2 is back on the card. Hobbs and Shaw, not Hobbs versus Shaw. So, Hobbs and Shaw 2 is on the cards, and that's all I want.
Yeah, because this was very much told by the studios the end of the main franchise. There will be spin-offs, no doubt.
Quote-unquote main, yeah.
But so far the only spin-off we've had is Hobbs and Shaw, and it's really fucking
good.
Really
cool.
I like Hobbs and Shaw better than most of the Fast and Furious movies.
I think I might. I mean, I'm rewatching them. I watched 7 last night. I'm probably do 8 tonight. And then I have to fit in 9 because that's the important one that we can't remember.
Oh, yeah. When you watch it tonight, or if you watch it tonight, text me and tell me what happens in 9.
Oh, in 9? Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I'll have
when
to
you watch it, just be like, oh, by the way, this happened. And I'll be like, oh, yeah.
Captain Marvel and John Cena were in the movie.
I'm pretty sure Brie Larson wasn't in it. I'm sure she was added for 10 because
let's find out.
10 was announced like just before COVID because I think 9 came out just at the start of it.
No, it was 2021.
2021.
Yeah.
Fuck.
It was when cinemas opened up. Yeah, it was mid-pan. Yeah.
And
when the pan was sizzling.
I remember him talking, and there was the whole beef of like, oh yeah, he's definitely not coming back in any capacity because that was when 10 was just the last one, and there was no 10 part
future
2/11. But Hobbs will be back.
No, you're right. Yeah, she wasn't in 9 then.
Well, she wasn't.
No.
Oh, fuck's sake.
It's not on her filmography, but no.
But I digress. I'm looking forward to it in a way of I'm looking forward to turning my brain off. And
definitely, 1,000,000%.
Just enjoying.
I want to feel what it's like to be in a car in the 4DX screen. Because those films, that's the only thing I remember about. That's the only thing I remember about 9 is how good it was in 4D. Family DX.
That's my Dominic Toretto face.
Family DX.
That's my Dominic Toretto face. Family. I'm gonna write family on my head.
Family. Get it tattooed.
Yes. So the family will return in June, isn't it? Because we've got Spider-Verse and Fast X.
No, Fast and Furious is this week.
Is it this week?
It's this Friday.
Jesus.
By the time this video comes out.
Jesus fuck.
Jesus fuck. Yeah, it's out.
Yeah. Well, I'm preparing for my son's birthday party, so I can't do that. Which kind of will. You still coming?
My invite must have been lost in the mail.
No, I told you when you was here.
But way back when? Back 250 episodes ago when I knew all about this. No, I think, you may have mentioned it. I can't think it's on my head.
I'll show you the thing after this. Anyway, I'll see it next week. But do you know what I didn't see next week? Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 has had the second best drop-off for second box office weekends in MCU history.
Yeah.
Behind Endgame. Which is obvious.
Shock horror. Yeah.
Yeah, the film that made all the money made all the money.
Made all the money. Yeah.
But 47% drop off, which is really good. It sounds a lot because the weekend drop. They calculate it based off of now when films release on the Thursday, it means they have a bigger weekend, so then it looks like they've earned more money at the weekend.
Smart business.
But Guardians has had only a 47%, because I think you average at least 50, if not more, especially if it's bad.
Especially if it's bad.
So for example, I think off the top of my head, Shazam! Fury of the Gods drop off on the second weekend was 67%.
Oh, ouch! Yeah. Okay.
From I think, so it was 30 odd the first weekend, and then made whatever 67% less than that is on the second one.
Maths. Yeah, okay.
I don't think Guardians will do gangbusters in terms of money, just because of cinema still recovering from pandemic. Like I know we're essentially nearly 2 years clear it. But we're still and films are different now, because 40 days after you get the VOD turnaround, which I think has killed a lot of steam for some things, especially Shazam. Like Shazam, I know word of mouth kind of faulted that, but the VOD I think completely just shot it in the face, because people
brutalize it. Fatality.
I'll just wait a month and then.
Who cares? Yeah, I'll see it in a month.
Yeah, but I think this will do quite well. I think it'll break 1 billion, because there's not many of those that have happened post-pandemic, have there? There was No Way Home was.
So that was the first movie to make
1
billion. Oh, let's find out. No Way Home.
You Google that. While I tell, because I think it's going to do over 1 billion. I don't think it's going to come anywhere close to obviously Endgame, unfortunately, because it fucking should. Because I redid my
121.4 million.
What?
Over the weekend.
No, what was the overall? I'm looking overall box office, because obviously that did loads, because they knew all the Spider-Man was in it. Because this is the first Marvel movie in a while that's felt like the hype's there. The hype has not been sort of waylaid by the actual opinion. Like Doctor Strange was, everyone's going to be in it, and then no one's in it, but it's actually better than you think, because it's not shit. Whereas Thor went the other way, it was, but it's actually quite bad.
It's 1.89 billion.
Fucking hell!
1.89 billion.
I think a push this could make 1.4.
1.4.
But I want it to at least make over 1 billion, because it deserves to be in the upper echelons of the grossings of the MCU, because none of the Guardians movies have made over 1 billion so far.
Oh god, no. Yeah.
700 million, I think, is where
total box
the
office.
First one was. First one was close.
Box office collection 773. I don't know if this is adjusting. Oh, that's just the first one then.
So that's just the first one. So have you got one for volume?
869 million. Yeah, so they've
about
not done
same.
1 billion.
So, if they can break 1 billion, just as a nice reward for this perfect. You heard me. Perfect MCU trilogy.
Perfect modern day trilogy. Yeah.
So we thought, why not actually talk about Guardians of the Galaxy and spoilers? Because fucking hell, no one died.
Way one big happy family.
We kind of alluded to it at the end, because we had 2 minutes to say
post credits. This happened.
We basically had 10 minutes to go, and this is what happened in Guardians 3. I really fucking love this. Can I just say I redid my MCU list.
Oh, have you?
Because sometimes when I'm in bed and I do these things, so I've got
a tier list. You've done a private tier list.
No, how I list my films of the year.
Right. Oh, right. Okay.
So I did one for the MCU. I did it in the way of I went from release order, so I'd write them down.
Mm-hmm.
So to start, you get it. So it's the numbers, so that they change as you add another one. So number 1, Iron Man. Yeah. So every time I went, it was so Incredible Hulk goes below Iron Man.
Yeah.
Iron Man 2 goes for me below Incredible Hulk, and then Cap and then doing that and then stacking them that way. So then you get, and then after I'd done them all, I did a little bit of moving around. But this is what I come up with. Do you want me to go bottom to top?
Why not? Yes.
So out of the 32 MCU films, because I'm not breaking my back to fit the series in somewhere.
Absolutely.
I would do the series. I would do the series separately, I think.
And then when we're at the very end of the universe, if it ever ends and if life ever stops and time stops flowing, then we'll rank everything. Yeah.
But I'm not debating whether or not She-Hulk is better than the Eternals and vice versa.
Yeah.
I mean, it is, but I was surprised by some of it. Let me know. I mean, you don't have a full list of this kind of stuff, but maybe we'll do yours next week or something. Gives you time to think about it, but let me know your opinions on these. So number 32 at the bottom.
Arguably the worst installment. Yeah.
Then the thing is, we know that there's a baseline level of filmmaking quality. They're all at least a 6 out of 10.
Oh, yes.
I don't think any of them are really bad. This one I just dislike. Not dislike, I don't really gel with this one. So number 32 for me is Black Widow.
Okay, yeah.
It's a Phase 3 film in Phase 4.
Yeah.
It was the first film of Phase 4. It was post-pandemic, that long old wait. Wasn't worth it for me.
Wasn't worth it. Yeah,
No.
Did absolutely nothing.
No.
Yeah.
Like I say, wasn't terrible. It just, for me, wasn't great. 31, Endgame could not stop it being as low as it is. Thor: The Dark World, I think, is still the most boring of the Thor films.
Yes.
I think
Definitely.
I think I'd have to give it a couple of months because I do want to do the 4 Thor films. Try saying that when you're pissed.
The 4 films, yeah.
Back to back to see if my opinions of them has changed. Because, let's just say the obvious answer is the best out of the 4 of them, Number 1. No. And then number 30, Iron Man 2. I just, it's filler. Like, it is proper filler. Like, I enjoy it. Like, I have fond memories.
That may or may not be my bottom 3, but maybe I'd put Iron Man 2 bottom.
Really, I think just for me, like, I enjoy the whole... I don't know, there's a fucking lorry out there. I enjoy the whole... that whole first phase I love.
Yeah.
But I think, like, Iron Man 2 is clearly... This is because we had to put something out to make sure that something else didn't come out. And it's basically killing time until Avengers.
Yeah.
And just escaping the bottom 3 is The Incredible Hulk.
Fine. Yeah, it's the there movie. It's there.
Some of these I need to, like, it was basically mostly just... But there's only a few that afterwards I've done it. Because I'm obviously doing it one by one, and then is then Shang-Chi better than Doctor Strange and blah blah blah.
Yeah, you got to
some of
figure
them I'll go through. Like, I think my top 10 I think is concrete. I think 11 to 32 could change a little bit, but like some could go up or down one.
11 to
more
20
in the
is
middle.
Be the
you could sort of
interchange.
Yeah.
How you feel on the day?
Because I really do enjoy Incredible Hulk, but number 28 is Thor: Love and Thunder. I really as time has gone on, I like it less and less.
It's not aging like a fine wine.
I feel gutted about this one at 27 because I was like, I enjoy it, but I can't place it any higher. Is Captain Marvel?
And
it says both films set out a sequence in the past compared to where the MCU are in the bottom, echelons of this list.
Well, there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot.
We've got our first entry from Cap at 26, First Avenger. I love First Avenger. I love that whole aesthetic. It's just, for me, not
everything
the best.
else is better.
Yeah.
In a way, everything else is better.
Like, especially what comes next immediately was preceded it immediately, but comes above it for me is Thor. Like, I enjoyed Thor, the first Thor, a lot more than Captain America first, because I watched them. I was ill, I think, in it was 2012,
11 when they came out. Oh
no, because I had them on Blu-ray. So and I watched, for some reason I watched them too, and I was like,
Thor was
I was
better.
like, Thor, I had a lot more. I didn't expect to have fun with Thor, so that's maybe why. Not at the bottom, and probably annoying a lot of people, is at 24 Avengers: Age of Ultron, because it is good. It is good. It could be above some stuff directly above it when I think about it, but I think in the mid to early 20s is fair because I enjoy it. Quantumania at 23.
Yeah. Okay.
For me, it was nowhere near the first and second Ant-Man films for me.
No.
I still enjoyed it. I think it's still a good treat. Like, I really had a good time when I saw it, and it's not as bad as the hate suggested. Poor co-star choices aside, but we could never equate for that. 22, Far From Home. It's the weakest
Spider-Man. Definitely.
But then also it's not. I think the problem I've had with MCU Spider-Man so far is that he's not. The only time to me he felt like Spider-Man
is at the end
was
of No Way
in the
Home.
first 20 minutes of Homecoming and the very end of No Way Home is when we're actually friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, which hopefully we'll get to in Spider-Man 4.
Into the Spider-Verse Part 3, technically.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Ooh.
Who knows?
Eternals at 21. I could have placed this higher, I could have placed it lower, but just looking at the stuff above it, I was like,
yeah,
it's about fair. Like, I really enjoy it. We've both said before, your opinion of that film lives or dies off of whether you gel with this cast.
Yeah.
And I had a really good time with it first time because it was one of them when I missed the chance to see it in the cinema. but caught it on Disney Plus, and I was just like, I don't get what the hate is for it, because it's just one of them ones that I think when you get one way or the other of like enormous praise or enormous like hate on a film,
yeah.
when you take that out and then watch it, like you can get a different opinion from it. Because I watched Last Jedi like months after it come out. I don't think I went to the cinema to see Last Jedi. It was one of them ones where I was probably doing something in December 2017. I don't know what. But I bought it on 4K, watched it. It looked gorgeous, and I just had a much better time with it. So that's probably why I gelled with Eternals a bit better. Starting off the top 20, Ant-Man. I really love that first Ant-Man. I think from here on out is everything that I'm just like, yes, like I love it, and you know these are all the good ones. Like other ones, they're the ones that are hated on in some way.
Debatable, yeah.
And obviously not as high quality in some aspects as the following films. Homecoming for me comes just above Ant-Man, so yes, the two Tom Holland Spider-Mans of the three are in the very much nearly the middle tier.
Yeah.
But for me, that's how, like, Homecoming's great, and then you know the Sony stuff and it's intrinsically linked to the MCU. I think I want a Spider-Man film that's just Spider-Man.
Nothing to do with the rest. Yeah.
I can't wait for what comes next.
Totally.
Iron Man 3 at 18.
Mm-hmm.
Doctor Strange, number 1. I really love Doctor Strange 1, and 1 or 2 could go anywhere. It's the same with Black Panther and Shang-Chi. They were kind of all vying for the like top 10, but also honorable mentions, because they're kind of, when you look at it, they aren't as good as what's in the top 10. Just.
Yeah. But it is a close coin toss between those two, yeah.
Guardians Volume 2 in 16. I love it, but out of the 3, I enjoy it slightly less. It's not that it's not funny, because a lot of people argue that it's like over the top with jokes and not funny and all that stuff. I really love it. I love the whole trilogy, as you'll find out.
I think a tease for next week, though. I think unpopular opinion, only this time around, though. I know it won World Cups and Pasty Sheep World Record Hall of Fame, but I think I'm going to do a hot shot, low blow to some, and say the first one is probably my least favourite now.
That's all right.
Out of the 3.
Because I was before I was like, I definitely like the first one better than the second one, but then I was like, no, I think I like the second one better than the first one.
It's like, I don't know. Do I?
Because, spoiler alert, Volume 3 is my favourite out of all of them.
Shock horror.
But I think it's all because we had a bit of a personal journey with it as well, which we
we definitely did.
Ant-Man and the Wasp at 15, the first MCU film of the Pasty Sheep generation.
Oh, right, yeah, cool. Pasty Sheep generation.
As we watched, that was episode 4. Michael Douglas doesn't like us. Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness at 14. I really enjoy it. It could have gone higher. It could have gone slightly lower.
A bit lower, yeah.
I think it's fair to leave it there for now. Maybe I'll tidy the list up a little bit. We've got a double header at 12 and 13. It's Black Panther and then Wakanda Forever just above it, because I really love both those films. The personal experiences of circumstances aside, they are still well made. But on top of that, the extra emotion that Wakanda Forever brings, I think, just pushes it at the moment
a little bit higher. Yeah,
I think maybe on a rewatch it could change, but I don't think it will, because it is a love letter, and this is what we wanted to say to Chadwick.
Yeah.
And also Black Panther by proxy, it goes up a bit because the sad passing of Chadwick Boseman meant they re-released Black Panther, and in the rewatch that I was doing with La, because we got up to that point, we then were able to see Black Panther in cinema.
Yeah.
And I missed Black Panther in cinema initially in 2018, because my sister was meant to go with me. She'd already gone, and it just became a thing of I didn't have time or anyone to go with. So that's another one that I caught on Blu-ray and loved. 4K, sorry, that was one of the early ones I bought on it. But yeah, seeing that again in cinema and then having that was pushed it up a bit. Now, number 11 is a special shout out because
here we go. Just missing the top 10.
Just missing the top 10, and Connor knows how much I love this film. Is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Oh, it's not in the top 10.
It was for a long time. It was like it's like a 7 or 8, but then I was like, George, listen. Everything that's above it deserves to be there, and I think you'll agree with the top 10 in terms of they should all be above it.
Okay,
but I really loved it, and also
I'm just going to be an audience member. I'm not just going to look. I'm not going to try and make contact. I'm just going to be in the moment and feel, and I'm going to say yay or no.
Okay,
I think
so.
Yeah,
and also because that was a date night where we went. went to Wagamama's. We went to Stevenage, obviously, because it's the best one to go to. We went Wagamama's for the first time, and then went in there, and La felt really ill. Didn't realise she was pregnant at the time. So subconsciously, Shang-Chi has a bit more meaning in my life.
Oh, lovely.
But yeah, but also, like, we both watched it and were like, that film was fucking amazing. Because we watched that in IMAX as well. Because I'd booked the 2D, like the standard one, but they were full. So I'd got IMAX at no extra thing.
Charge.
Well, no, you don't. No, IMAX with the black cards.
Yeah. You still you pay a small fee.
No, IMAX is free with the black. And then 4DX
okay.
and everything else comes down more. So that was it. The ticket price for her, because she doesn't have an unlimited card. What a loser! So her ticket price stayed the standard for a normal 2D.
Oh.
So I got to see IMAX for fucking nothing, you bastards.
Win-win.
Number 10.
Okay.
You might not agree with the placing, but you will agree that it's top 10 worthy. I think. Civil War.
I think it's about right. Yeah, I think that's about right.
The pause scared the shit out of me.
I'm trying to. You've said so many. I'm trying to think what's above. Basically, it's now. Is it better than Shang-Chi? That's what's going through my head.
Yeah. Well, you can do it as a bit via now. Like, is it better than the last one?
Or maybe controversially, swap Shang-Chi and Civil War around. Shang-Chi is a fighting stallion.
I like that for a while, but also like. The quality of Civil War and like the journey that sets us on into the next
the rest,
yeah. Because the Russos are responsible for a big story arc of this universe, and stuff that happens in Civil War is the first introduction of Spidey.
It's the foundation.
It's not the best Captain America film, obviously.
No.
Because there is one more still to go. There's one more still to come out. So could New World Order be here? I hope it's good. I hope New World Order is in the Shang-Chi.
I mean, Seth frickin' Rollins is in it. It's going to be great. Burn it down. He's going to burn that movie down. He's going to burn Captain America's.
So number 9, obviously more general audiences associate with more. Ragnarok is at number 9 for me. I love it. It's the best Thor film. It's not dampened by my experience of Love and Thunder so far. It's a lot of fun. It trims a lot of that weight, but also unfortunately sets us off on a tone that was continued into the fourth one and almost doubled down on. But I couldn't put it above. It was that and Civil War. I was like, for anyone else, they would be top 5. But I just think there is nothing. I can't move it. It's like they're locked in.
Okay.
As this one as well. But this is it's higher on nostalgia, but also I had to look at the nostalgia and say that doesn't hold it higher than any of the films above it. Number 8 is No Way Home. Because I had a really good time with it. I like where it finishes and it basically ends the trilogy that is the Peter Parker origin story. And
the whole time. And we didn't realise at the time.
Yeah.
We just thought it was a bit weird.
It was the first director in John Watts to finish a MCU trilogy.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see where it's left us next. Number 7 might be controversial. Endgame.
Oh, wow. It's number 7. Not in the top 5.
Because, and I'll tell you for why, out of the two-parters, story-wise, it is lesser than Infinity War. I think Infinity War... I know it's End of Time Part 1 and 2. Part 1 is the better story. Because it's doing all the heavy work, and then number 2, like with many Part 1 and Part 2 films, like Deathly Hallows, like whatever the Twilight one was, like Fast X 1, 2, and 3,
Stormbreaker, Twilight Saga, Stormbreaker,
whatever that was,
Stormbreaker.
But
yeah.
The first one does a lot of the heavy lifting and the more emotional stuff, and then you get more of the to cut loose and have fun in the second one, which is great. And Endgame is a fabulous end and a season finale to this long-running, expensive TV show that we've had for 11 years
TV
at that point.
Yeah.
But I just think Infinity War was better. And I think that Endgame is a lot of fanfare and fan service. Like, it's good, and I don't dislike any of it at all. Like, I saw the film 6 times in the 6.5 if you count the one where we walked into the wrong screen and went, oh, we're just going to see from the time travel bit onwards. But no, it's just for me. And you might not agree with what's directly above it, because number 6 for me is Guardians of the Galaxy, number 1.
Yeah.
I just gel with that so much, and I think the event, maybe there's a bit of rose tint backwash from Volume 3.
Right.
And maybe that could drop down a couple, but it would not drop out the top 10 for me because I love Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. I think it is fantastic. It's the start of a journey that culminated beautifully like a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, this year.
And I love it. I love that first one. I love the whole trilogy. It's just, for me, when Guardians come up, it was like nothing. There was hardly anything coming above it, really. But number 5 had to come above it. Because the first time we saw this in cinemas, not me and you, as in like together, as in me and you separately.
Yeah.
But when this first happened was the first time all these worlds collided. Because number 5 for me is Avengers, which I still think is like.
It is a brilliant
number
movie.
1 is really underappreciated now that we've had Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah.
But I love that first.
It was really the dawn of the MCU because at phase 1 was just worlds. And a sequel, and then this is when they all collided.
Gently linking together, and Kevin Feige saying, one day it could hopefully lead to the Avengers. Is like, right now we've done that, we'll build towards our big story, which is then what became the whole of the Infinity Saga. But I love Avengers Assemble in the UK.
Avengers, yeah.
So we're in top 4 territory. You know what 4 are left, right?
So Guardians 3, I don't know, you've done the Spider-Man, I can't fucking think. Guardians 3, Infinity War, and then I've gone blank. Iron Man 1.
That's still
Iron Man 1, and Winter Soldier. Yeah, so they're the 4. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you think you know what's number 4?
So what, Iron Man, Guardians 3, Infinity War, or... I'm gonna say Iron Man. Infinity War is number 4.
Infinity War is number 4. Infinity 4 is number
Infinity
4. The best Avengers film for my money because it was the start of the season finale. It was the first time we'd seen the Avengers in like 3 years. It was the first time post-Civil War. It was like, how is this going to work, this dynamic? And it carried over all those story beats, gelled it in such a way, and all those things that were beautifully carried on and brought full circle in Endgame for for Cap, for Iron Man, for that relationship. But it was the real start of the new age is coming into the old age. Like we're getting it almost is like a changing of the guard of some aspects. In like we get Doctor Strange and Tony, the Guardians coming into it. That was like having the first thing of all these people come together, because we don't really get it in Endgame because it's stripped back to the originals plus a few extras.
Yeah.
But it was nice to have that, and it's a Thanos film, and Josh Brolin is fantastic.
It's a Josh Brolin film, so that's a bonus point for it.
He is so far the best villain of this saga, I think you can agree, or this whole universe. I mean, I know once he comes back, hopefully Kingpin will put up a bit more of a fight, because to see D'Onofrio.
But would he be as evolutionary?
High.
Or revolutionary?
Well, the thing is, we're in the top 3, and Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a box of scraps, because number 3 is Iron Man.
Okay. That's an interesting top 2 then. Skip Iron Man 1, who cares about that shit? We wouldn't be here without Iron Man 1, of course, but like...
The one that started it all.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Every time I watch it, for me, it's a bit like Casino Royale. Every time I watch it, I'm like, can it still be as good as I think it is? And it's still a fabulously amazing made movie. And, like you say, it started it all. But so the top 2.
Well, yeah, Guardians 3.
Do you think...
Hurt your soul that much, did it? Adam Warlock aside.
Adam Warlock, I think there's no weakness in the film, because number 2
is Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
no. Nice try, Mr. Potter. You did not sway Bucky Barnes.
There is no weakness for me in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and also it may be the fact that there's a bit of personal stakes in this. I know not because we didn't make the fucking film, but
we did in spirit. Damn it,
we did. Without us, it wouldn't exist.
100%.
It's the first big thing that ever happened on this podcast, and very early in our life was James Gunn sacked. Talked about it. Who's going to take over it? And then a year later, we got the confirmation that he was back. And
it was a journey of my film career, because I walked out and I was like, "Who's James Gunn?" And that question was in my mind for those 5 years. And if I could slap myself back in time, boy, he would have bruises all over his face, but not and the cheeks, but not those only cheeks.
But wow, Connor slapping his own ass in the past. I really loved how this finally came together, because it was a long old 6 years, a long way. I know we saw them in Infinity War, Endgame, briefly in Love and Thunder. We got that lovely, the holiday special was a nice bit.
Really nice.
Let's actually have a thing that's fully about the Guardians again, and it was like, oh no, it's too short. It's basically a prologue.
He didn't really lead into the plot, or did it? And but it still came really nice.
It was still lovely,
Yeah.
and it's a beautiful and it, like you say, the film was so personal, and I wept for this film, because I invested in these characters and stories and emotions and beats that, saying goodbye to the only family that you ever knew and the only friends that you had for a very long time, and wrapping up this trilogy so that, this can be the end, but this is the end of James Gunn's version.
The end of James Gunn.
He's earned it.
Yeah,
and
totally.
all these characters have earned it. And Chris Pratt, for as much of a twatty, homophobic man as he is, it was nice for him and the cast to get their characters a happy ending.
A happy ending,
what it is.
yeah.
For once in the MCU, it's a happy ending all round.
Drastically, yeah, a happy ending.
Not the happiest, because Gamora doesn't suddenly fall back in love with Star-Lord, but everyone ends where they're supposed to, and I love it. And for me, it was like, I don't see that being... It could, if I thought about it, it could sort of maybe... It will always be, I think, in the top 3 or 4.
Okay.
Unless something else comes along, because it's only really once in a while in the MCU that a film comes along that is like, no, that is full-on fan-fucking-tastic, that's upper echelon level, which is why 2014's Captain America the Winter Soldier
still hasn't changed.
Will always, I think, be my favourite MCU film. It's phase 2, much considered the weakest phase of the saga, but it brought about the biggest changes, the change in direction when it came to, let's actually let the directors that are coming on board
tell their story and do what they wanted to do.
Do their tone, and we fit the story around that. It was the start of that, because, it came about just like as they were doing that before, like, they didn't want what Edgar Wright wanted to do on his own with Ant-Man, but it kickstarted that as proof of, no, like, this is like proof of concept, like, it's an espionage thriller, like, it's completely different. And I love how, when you think about it, the Captain America films are all a different genre. I mean, every film essentially is a different genre, but like, it's the wartime spirit, camaraderie, like, sort of, we're having a grand old time,
Patriot film,
in the like period piece. This is espionage thriller, and it's more of a flat out action sort of thing in Civil War, because it's an Avengers
2.5-esque
film.
Yeah,
but it made Steve Rogers. I think without this film, we wouldn't look back on Chris Evans' Steve Rogers as great of a character as he is, because by the time both him and Tony bow out and finish their character journeys in Endgame, I think we have Winter Soldier to thank for it more and more, because as great as it was in First Avenger, because it is really good, really fun, it's then how do you translate it, and he was sort of still, they hadn't quite found the space in modern day in Avengers.
Even with the outfit,
he unfortunately is, like, even with screen time, like, allowance, I think he's the weakest main Avenger in the
Avengers.
Thing. I mean, there's a case for Hawkeye, but he's not really in it, so but
strongest Avenger. Yeah,
but definitely out of the big ones that were introduced, he's like
that outfit. That is America. Lame, that is America's ass.
Yeah. And we got Strike, we got like the whole infiltration and Hydra and the deformation of S.H.I.E.L.D. It was fan-fucking-tastic. And I remember watching that like opening day in Cineworld before they built the new one in Harlow. So it was the old one. That was packed. Like, I went that day that it opened, and I had the best time. And for me, if it's an MCU film that I'm like, I just want to watch I don't want to watch Arc. Like, I just want a good one. It's
a solo watch. Yeah.
I love it 100%. And it did the Winter Soldier things, because it was another fake title one that then became Winter Soldier, like Serpent Society became. No, we're doing Civil War actually, but and it, like I say, made Chris Evans the fan favorite that he is today.
Yeah,
I believe.
Damn right.
It's one of the few 10 out of 10s. And I would rank Guardians 3, and I would say the top 5 are 10 out of 10s. Wholeheartedly.
Yeah, that's not a bad 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good 5.
Do you think of that? Any?
Literally, whatever your 10 and 11 was, I'd swap Shang-Chi and Civil War around.
Really?
Yeah.
I did debate with that just because I think, like, the surprise of because many people would probably say, oh, Shang-Chi's, like, nearer the bottom. But, like, Shang-Chi is really good, really well made. And it was the shock of it. Because you'd had Eternals and it was like, oh, is it going to be another... Because it was the year that we had 4.
It's going back to, like you say, the directors doing their own story. It was a throwback to Asian cinema.
It was after Black Widow, wasn't it? Because
it was the one after Black Widow.
That was the one that was the year after Widow, but then everything got congested because of
into 2021
the pandemic. Jesus. But no, like I really love that, and it realistically I could do a couple of minor shift swapping round sort of things, but I'm happy with the top 10. Maybe top 9. I'd say, everything's where it needs to be realistically, and anything below the top 10 could go
either way.
Some stuff in the middle could go very high or very low. Stuff at the higher end of the middle could shift a bit as with the bottom. But I think it's about general for me. In terms of, that's just my opinion. We'll hear Connor's one next week. So he's now he's now got 32 films to think about.
Head. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we could do that.
Because getting back to my number 2, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Let's just breathe. Let's just breathe it in, man. Yeah.
Were you emotional watching it because?
I mean, I've seen it 3 times now.
Yes. Did you feel like it was? We're finally here. Like, this is fine because this has gone through some shit. The pandemic, the firing and rehiring of James Gunn,
and some changes in our lives. Yeah, literally, it has. It's gone.
It was nice to finally
get to the fucking thing. Our cinematic Mona Lisa.
It was
that we always envisioned for the last 6 years. We knew it was going to be our cinematic masterpiece. Yeah, we knew it was going to be our Mona Lisa. If only we were the ones to fucking sell it though and get all the money from it. God damn it. No, it was just a nice, pleasant... It was like a pinch yourself moment. It was like, oh, we are actually seeing this bloody movie. And Marvel ain't at the best of times, so I shouldn't be this excited. But then as soon as it began and as soon as it was just the opening shot. Creep, rocket, and the somber tone. I was like, okay, this is the most serious film already. Out of the 3?
Out of the 3.
I was like, okay, this is going to be something else.
And I like that it's not linked to the multiverse saga. This is the story. This is
such a relief. Yeah, it's such a relief.
Not that I wouldn't have minded if it was, because I think it would have done it in an interesting way, but I think James Gunn was never telling that story.
No.
Because had it always been his last one, it was always, I think, going to be like a version of this. The parallel world that we will never get to live in, where he just ran the cosmic side of the MCU in terms of like your Adam Warlocks, your Novas, and all that stuff that's going to come out. Like, he probably would have maybe linked it in a bit more, something. It would have been a bit more intrinsic to a plot coming up.
Yeah,
but it didn't need to be, because this was a victory lap in a film, and it's the first time. It's the first one that's felt like that. Like, apart from Endgame. Endgame is, this is where this version of the story ends, and it's a good thing of, if you want to get off here, get off. But we're still going to be rocking and rolling down to the next station for another big old story. But
we might have had some minor road hits along the way and some tube strikes and God knows what on the way. We'll get there in 3 years. We'll let you know.
Yeah, that's the thing. And this was a personal wrap up, because Quantumania doesn't really wrap anything up because it's so intrinsically linked to what's coming next. The final Iron Man does a bit of that, but then it's all sort of undone by Age of Ultron and stuff like that. But obviously is retconned later to fit with that. But that kind of stuff. Cap kind of comes to peace with himself, but that's more the journey he goes on in the final 2 films. And the
trilogy doesn't conclude because it's like the trilogy is like 2/3 of his arc.
Yes,
it's odd. It's 2/3 of his story.
He gets the big stuff in. Well, because if you take the 3 Captain America films and the first 2 Avengers films as 2/3, and then you get Infinity War, Endgame, a big old chunk of his
life. Yeah.
It's far. But what else? Spider-Man was obviously very much the end of. This is the end of the origin story.
Yeah, exactly. The trilogy was his origin, which I love.
Which I love.
But I can't think of any other trilogies that's like that. Do you ever think like
something that ends as
that
the
he's like
beginning?
the beginning? Yeah, like a new beginning, if you will.
The only thing I can think of, and it's not a great example, but TV-wise, was the last season of Sherlock.
Right. Oh, okay.
Was like, so season 4 sets it up as, and this is the Holmes and Watson dynamic as is in the books when they're at their prime. Like, this is almost like all the backstory stuff that we've been going through, and then they're just going to go on and solve crimes. So if it was to come back for a season 5, they would basically just be at their prime. It would not be secret service stuff, then secret conspiracies, secret. But I liked it because I think when you get to No Way Home, you think it's just a fun multiverse romp, but it is. I think when you get to that bit with May finally saying the lines that we've not heard properly since 2004, it was this is his Uncle Ben moment. This
is the
beginning. Tony Stark isn't his Uncle Ben.
No.
Uncle Ben wasn't even really his Uncle Ben. I hope that's alluded to more and we actually learn a bit about that. When we learn about
Friendly Neighbourhood Spider-Man,
I'm also fine with not knowing about it if we never do, because Aunt May was
the Uncle Ben figure.
Especially when they come out, it was like, it's based off of One More Day, which is a comic that's not very well liked or received, and it's not great.
No.
You know, Aunt May is a big factor in that, and we should have seen it coming, but I think that's played so well. But it's obviously, like you say, it wraps up those portions and then goes, and this is what it is going forward. Whereas Guardians does that a bit with, and here's the new team, whether we necessarily visit them, and we're not going to visit them with James Gunn. Sure, no, certainly.
Unfortunately, no.
Hopefully in like a few years' time, maybe they let him just direct an Avengers film.
Yeah.
And he just puts the Guardians in it.
Yeah.
But while he's busy over and goes over to the other side with some of the cast members will join it, because I doubt we'll see Batista again. I'd like to see Pom Clementine come back, because I really did enjoy Madness.
Yeah.
Nebula goes
Rocket and Groot are kind of inseparable.
Yes, and they will come back in some regard, because the new team we're left with is Groot, Rocket,
Kraglin, Phyla-Vell, who's a young girl.
Phyla-Vell, Cosmo the space dog, and that Flurp thing.
Beep the Meep.
Yeah, Beep the Meep. Miriam Margolyes.
Beep the Meep.
So that they're the Guardians for now. But we know that the legendary Star-Lord will return. Whether that's, someone said, could be Chris Pratt, or it could be
just a title that's moved on.
Or it could be a multiverse variant, because we know Secret Wars is coming. So that could be a thing. Because if it's a thing of
multiverse or Chris Pratt, or just another Star-Lord?
Multiverse different.
Multiverse different.
Multiverse different, because then that's a way of, we don't have to have Chris Pratt in this movie.
We don't have to acknowledge the James Gunn stuff. Like, his stuff has ended.
But but Chris Pratt has said, I'm. You know, a lot of people a lot of them were in solidarity of like, this is the end kind of thing. But he was like, no, it's very much the end of this version of the Guardians. You know, you won't see these lot together on screen again probably ever, if not for at least a very long time. He said, but like, you know, I'm okay if I don't do any more, but I'm never going to pass up the opportunity to play him. Like, if the right, like you say, the right circumstances come along, the right script. He said, I would never just do it for the money, which is fair enough. That's an admirable thing that you've said, for the most admirable thing you've said for the past couple of years. But no, I would like to see more Star-Lord, because I think now that he's come to terms with the grief and dealing with his mother.
And he hasn't he hasn't stopped running away.
And I think he's inspired by Rocket.
Definitely.
I think that, because, Rocket finally was always, he ran away from, like, Thanos. Like, I know you're only going there because that's where Thanos isn't, kind of thing. Because I revisited everything the Guardians were in.
Yeah, I'd do that.
So I did Volume 1, Volume 2, Infinity War, Endgame.
Did the whole journey.
Love and Thunder.
Holiday Special. Yeah.
And
you got to.
And it was like, no, that's a thing. And especially when you remember in Volume 2 that one of his favourite memories is when him and Rocket are testing out the jetpacks and stuff like that. Like, he cares for these people, and like, even Mantis, who's not been around as much, like, I love you guys all dearly, I really do, but it's finally time to find out what I want to do. That was great.
That was brilliant.
Nebula was a bit of a surprise, because I thought she was going to be her full circle arc redeem is going from the sidekick of a villain, and basically almost like a slave, or like an emotional, physical punching bag in some cases for the Mad Titan. To then be the pure good guy and lead the Guardians would have been like, oh no, like that would have been cool. But also, her thing with Drax is like, you weren't meant to be a destroyer, you were meant to be a dad.
That was so sweet, so sweet. He did a proper like 360. He was on a John Wick mission style for revenge. Thanos killed his like son and daughter, wife and daughter, on the revenge. He gets his revenge, ironically, which, whether you think it's a good thing or not, it's a comic book, who cares? But his arc does sort of complete due to Infinity War Endgame. But then it's like, what'd you do with him? And then he did get his payoff, because he now gets to relive the parenthood again
with loads of adopted children.
Too many adopted children.
And they're at a point where they're a place where they could come back, because they're on nowhere. So like they're just that's their base. They'll probably stop by. There'll maybe be a cameo here or there. They'll maybe like in films where it's like we're up against it, like we need, we're about to go, like they're about to be killed essentially, and then someone
last call for help. Yeah,
like it would be like Drax and Nebula style. So I hope they come back. Obviously, Batista is a doubt without Gunn.
Yes,
but I think he's also at a point where he would just do it as like a go on one more time.
Yeah, one more time. Yeah. Why not?
Especially Nebula, I think, like Karen Gillan has, she's been such a fantastic. Like,
she's embodied. I think she's probably gained the most out of this trilogy, as an actor.
And she was out of them. She was one of the more, not the least experienced because of the Batista. She was, still quite young, still learning the craft. She'd not long. Well, she'd been out of Doctor Who for a little bit, but also this was the first big thing, and this has brought her to a more general audience, made her more international. And shown her range, because especially when you look at Endgame, when it's past and future Gamora, the physicality as well as the performance has changed from those two different versions, and you're like, wow, like Karen Gillan, fantastic actress.
Hats off to you.
But we knew that anyway, because she's Amy fucking Pond, and she's great, and she's so kind, and like just the
girl who waited,
she waited long enough. Gamora, like we said before, I could have done without her being in it. I think that was just the thing of we're wrapping everything up, so we've kind of got to
have her in it,
and not leave that thread dangle. I like the power of that, like you said. Like
they didn't commit to the romance. Will they?
I wouldn't have minded if they had, and he finally like won her round, and then he died like winning her round. Yeah, right. Because then that would have been like a.
I just would have liked a more ending, going back to jumping off slightly to Star-Lord's fate, if you will. So be it. If he did, unfortunately, move on to the afterlife, and Adam Warlock couldn't save him, but they died saving him in his arms, but they just failed.
Yeah, maybe. And a lot of people are having problems with where's the helmet, but the helmet was destroyed in
plot armor. Yeah,
the helmet was destroyed in Volume 2, and I think that was genuinely meant to be a thing, a thing that stayed.
Is it not in Infinity War at all? The helmet.
That's the thing. So it gets destroyed in Volume 2, and he doesn't have it. Which is the whole reason why Yondu gives him the force because of that. And I think Gunn wanted that to be a permanent loss because he doesn't have it in any of the post-credit scenes or whatever for Volume 2. But the Russos made the conscious decision, like obviously marketing as well, recognisability, like having them there in the suits. He's then suddenly got the helmet. Just as like also with they made the argument as well with Spider-Man rejects the Avengers, but then he joins the Avengers. But also, like, it's a world-ending threat, and he's just there to help.
He's just kind of there.
He's just gone there, helped, saw that Tony's there, and then he's kind of staying with him to help him finish the thing. And there was another one as well. There was a third one, like, that the Russos kind of just ignored. But it's also, from a stylistic point, it's a lot of fanfare. It's a roundup. It's a finale. So we don't see the helmet at all in Volume 3, do we?
I don't believe so.
Because I think someone made the comment that he just like leaves it on the ship or leaves it like maybe whether that's in the film or not. I'll have to go back and watch it again.
Yeah,
because clearly the reason he didn't want it was for that moment for them to make Peter realise I almost died. I need to go back and make peace with my family.
Yeah.
Whereas if you'd had the helmet, there's no stakes in that. So like you're like saying that it's lazy writing, like where was his stuff? But it was meant to not be in anything past Volume 2.
Guardians,
because it's not in Holiday Special. He doesn't have it in. He doesn't have it in Love and Thunder.
Don't think so. No.
So like at least Taika keeps up with it. You know what I mean? And he doesn't keep up with the fucking continuity between his own movies.
He didn't even fucking want them in it. He didn't want them in it.
No,
he could have easily just done his own thing. They could have made Star-Lord wear a fucking unicorn mask if he felt that way.
He done his own thing, but then Guardians 3 would have come out before Thor.
Yeah.
And we all assumed that Thor was going to be in 3 to help them fight Adam Warlock. Which I think it could have been had it was the original timeline and that could have followed staying on.
And that could have followed Taika's wish of not letting the Guardians in his movie.
Yeah, because then they would have gone their separate ways and then Thor Love and Thunder would have happened. But I think it had the original version of events played out where James was still going to be the cosmic overseer.
Yeah.
Of the cosmic universe, then possibly. But we shall never know. And I like this. I like what we got because the High Evolutionary is one of the best villains we've had in a long time. Proper boo hiss.
There's no part compared to Thanos. I'm not saying you like Thanos at all. No, you don't like his double
Thanos
chin.
Has a point.
Yeah, you have a point.
And
High Evolutionary doesn't have a fucking point.
And also, you get what he's trying to say, but he's but also you could. There's that argument of you could just double the resources or whatever, or make a infinite amount of resources. Like there's other things you can do, not just half of everything must die to make everything prosper. But that's in his head. He's right, and it's nice to not have a grey area villain in the High Evolutionary.
Yeah, he doesn't have a point at all. He was a right scumbag the whole time.
Fantastic though, fantastic actor.
Yeah, amazing.
Chuck Woody
Iwuji.
Chuck
Woody.
I'm not even going to attempt it because I'm going to do him a disservice. But as they call him, as his castmates call him in the interviews, Chuck is fucking amazing. Fantastic. And he previously, I forgot that he was in Peacemaker. Wasn't he?
Yeah.
And James Gunn likes to use his friends and family. Don't care if you fucking hated audience. That's what filmmakers do. Martin Scorsese has worked with the same people 99% of the time. He only changes the lead and then the people around it to make it more age appropriate. Because he can't have used Ray Liotta his whole life
for a freaking Toy Story film.
And you can't have had Leonardo DiCaprio when he was really young.
No.
He changes and takes a different lead and but then works with a similar group of people. Like Edgar Wright worked with a lot of the same people. Same with James Gunn.
Yeah.
Always has his brother in something. Nathan Fillion's been in everything, apart from Guardians 2.
Pretty much, I think.
Nathan
maybe.
Fillion's been in most things that James Gunn's done.
Yeah, good chunk, yeah. Michael Rooker's another one.
Michael Rooker, because Michael Rooker's in Slither, wasn't he?
Yep.
And I no doubt that this cast that he's, become a family with will all, if not some of them, will feature in the DCEU.
Yeah,
so we will see. I'm glad that he got to say goodbye the way he wanted, and it ended so it's sad, but it's
wholesome.
It's sad that we're not getting it again. Not sad. We're happy that it happened.
We're definitely happy.
Sad that we won't get more of it. For me, that was what I got because it was this is a this is a full stop at the end of the sentence.
Yeah. No ifs, no buts. Yeah.
And the fact that, especially, do you know what also got me not sobbing, but it got me because that was that whole last 20 minutes. I'm just tears in my eyes. Yeah. But it's when Drax dances.
Yeah.
Because he spent the whole time. Some dance, some do not.
Yeah.
And dancing is for idiots. But he goes up with the kids, and then I was like, there's no way. And then he just dumps into it, and I was like, and then they're all just screaming with joy. And when it ends on that sort of looping sort of almost mini crane shot, as it swings round to rocket, as they're all just going, whoa, and it ends. I was like goosebumps just talking about it. Honestly, it looks fantastic, feels fantastic. The diegetic soundtrack is the strongest use of it in the film.
Did you say the diegetic soundtrack?
Yeah, because the soundtrack's more diegetic in terms of it's not just a song that's playing.
Fine, yeah,
They listen to it and then that's how it is, how we're listening to it. So when it starts off in the headphones and then it's all thingy, around you, is in part of the actual sound. So diegetic is more natural and organic, as in terms of
not just forced movie movement here.
Yeah, not just we're going to play this song in this bit because we like it. It's
it served a purpose.
It's they're both of the same world and mind. I think it was used most effectively because it's done very well in the first one, but this was more sort of every song had meaning. It all fit.
Oh, definitely had meaning. Right. Yeah.
And I think it was a great array of songs as well. And I loved it. I loved everything about it. The first F-bomb of the MCU.
Get in the fucking car.
There's a button on the handle. Push it. Okay. Now what? Open the fucking door.
Yeah, open the fucking door. That's it.
Because I love how Chris Pratt was like, "Yeah, screw you, Samuel L. Jackson." Because I think who was it? I think it was Conan that asked him, was like, and how did Samuel L. Jackson not get the first F-bomb in the MCU? Because he nearly does in Infinity War. He's like,
yeah.
But because he said like for years, he's like for a good 10 years at least, maybe since the beginning, like he said like from where he's been in it, like everyone on an improv will just throw it in and hope it sticks. And he said, and I did it, and it must have just caught on the right day because and it made it into the movie. And I know that, and if you watch some of James Gunn's interviews, because he talks about on the day it was just like, I know like sometimes it seems like when they throw the F-bomb, it's like, oh, they're kind of done, they want to move on. But he's like, it's just like, we all found it really funny that day, and then it's like, yeah, but sometimes you can find it funny on the day and it's not funny in the edit, but then we put it in the edit and it was still really funny. And he was like, I was watching it thinking Disney are gonna want me to take this out. This is, he said, and he went to Disney's credit, they have never asked me to do anything. Like everything I've done and made with these films has been down solely to me.
Yeah.
And with the backup that I've had from Kevin. And he said, but he's like, they're gonna say take this out. And Chris Pratt tells it slightly differently, but from James Gunn's thing, he said, and I went and saw Kevin. Because whenever they do a rough cut or like nearly final cut, like Kevin will sort of come in on it and see it's like, yeah, good job, sort of like what we're doing. Then as they move into post or like end of post into sort of like planning promotion and stuff. And he's like, yeah, I like it. He's like, and what do you think about the F1? He's like, yeah, no, it's good. Like, we've like nearly had a couple before. Like he said, and he goes, there was one in Endgame. He's like, because obviously like James Gunn knows it because he's part of it in and around it, and the executive producer on the Avengers movies that the Guardians are involved in, as Favreau has been on all of them, because it's overseeing your characters that you've made, whether they fit the whole aesthetic.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, so like the Russos did one for Endgame, and it was in for a long time. Everyone found it really funny, and they just kind of went, nah, this isn't it. This kind of just takes it out at the moment for a bit too long, and they didn't want that to be their legacy. He said, and if he went, James, if you want your legacy to be an F-bomb in a Marvel film, that's an F-bomb in your movie, then that's cool. That's down to you. And he says like, I know you're trying to like scare me away, Kevin, but if anything, you're challenging me more to do it. Whereas Chris Pratt says it's kind of like, if you, he kind of said if you want to be the first but like you want your film to have the first F-bomb in it, then that's down to you. And like James Gunn's like, yeah, fuck yeah, I want it in the like kind of thing. He's obviously like, yeah, like it's my last thing. Like it's such a moment that's so quick. It doesn't take anything away. I think it's perfectly timed. I think it's
it's such a real it feels like a real ad-libbed moment.
Yeah. And it could have been. There could have been like F-bombs in anything. Maybe we'll have to do a challenge
of fucking door.
We'll have to do a challenge. All the MCU movies previous.
Where would have been the most logical F-bomb?
Because in a PG-13 you get two shits and you get one fuck.
Okay.
And then it still is classified as a PG-13 because you get Tony saying about about the time heist being horseshit, and then you get Cap going, "Oh, you're going to be shitting me."
Yeah, language.
Yeah, and because you get the shit in Age of Ultron, and that's paid. So you feel
Endgame when Tony discovers he's got time travel, and he's like, "Shit!"
Oh, so there's two shits because maybe horseshit bullshit doesn't really count as a full shit. So there is the two shits in you get. I know it's like two or three shits, and then because Spider-Man said it a bunch, like holy shit.
Yeah.
But maybe that could be a challenge. Where do we put the MCU F-bombs?
Yeah.
But alas, we've got to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy. So let's talk about a different region of space.
All right.
Because we had the 60th anniversary specials trailer.
I know the titles, but I don't think I even saw the trailer. I didn't see it.
The titles were in the trailer.
Oh, I didn't. I saw the post. I didn't see the trailer.
Then see it now.
Now.
I'm gonna put this. So I'm gonna put this on and then cut it out because copyright. Here is me showing Connor the trailer for. Also, can I just say the Yondu cameo really fucking got me as well. But
lovely jubbly.
Doctor Who 60th anniversary trailer. This was because it was because one of the dates on the redacted. Have you seen the ident interruptions that then everyone's like played backwards and you've heard the clips?
Yeah.
Like one of the dates was the date. It was like it was the rough word of Eurovision, but with loads of the things cut out, and then the date that Eurovision was on. Oh. So that's when, like, it was at the end or in one of the breaks between it happened. So I'm going to show him it now.
Okay. Yeah, don't know. That's a good question. Yeah. Oh. The giggle. Okay. Huh. Very minimal still.
Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the official Doctor Who YouTube channel.
I love that because David never got to do that in his era.
Don't get to subscribe to the official Doctor Who YouTube channel.
Now we have to get Chris to come back so we can do. Don't forget to subscribe to the Doctor Who YouTube channel. Or don't. I don't really give a fuck.
Absolutely fantastic if you do though.
Fantastic, but also I don't give a fuck. Not doing it.
Not doing it.
So we have the titles for the trilogy of specials. Special 1, The Star Beast.
The Star Beast.
Special 2, my favourite of the three, Wild Blue Yonder. Oh, it's such a
Wild Blue Yondu.
Such a fucking Russell title. I love it. And Special 3,
The Giggle.
A lot of people have said, because obviously we're getting very much Toymaker vibes from
Neil Patrick Harris.
Neil Patrick Harris, thank you. And also, you know, because one of the redacted ident interruptions was like there's rules to these games and we know what he's like for cheating rules so that the Toymaker wins kind of thing as previous appearances, and the mind control stuff. And someone said it would be so Russell for it meta for it to be that the Toymaker is the representation of fans of the show. Like he's been keeping an eye on watching the Doctor's life, and he's putting like it back to like how it should be. Like he's made it so that it looks like David's back, like Donna's back, like almost like it's a thing show. But then it's gonna have a subtle thing of like no, like change is good, and then it'll end. That's how it'll end, and then Shooty will burst forth.
Oh, that's probably a good chunk of the thematic plot.
That would be lovely.
That would probably be a good chunk of it.
I wouldn't put it past Russell.
Yeah,
but also giving us mad Toymaker vibes, and it's a bit jokery as well. So someone said, and obviously like you get the laughs and the ventriloquism in there as well. In the last,
you want to know how I got these scars?
But someone said instead of the giggle, because I know that it's probably going to be one of the most important episodes in the show's history, because it's the end of the 60th specials and the thing of, and here's Shooty and here's where we go from here. Like maybe like you could have called it like the last laugh.
Yeah,
something like that. But
what do you think the giggle was just a placeholder?
No, I think it'll be it. Like
the giggle.
Yeah,
the last giggle.
We've had some fucking weird. We've had space pirates for fuck's sake.
The Time Lord giggle.
The Star Beast. I like it because it's probably going to be Beep the Meep, like or whatever.
It's an adaptation of that comic.
That those guys from the comic as well were hunting. Is it Miriam Margolyes voicing Beep the Meep? I don't know, but it could be. David Tennant is a fine wine because, dear God, that man doesn't age.
Yeah.
Like, I know this was filmed because the first set photos of them in Camden came out a year ago today. That was
wow, a year ago today. Oh wow,
like, that's today. Insane. Like,
yeah,
the first things of him walking and like seeing from afar, like him with the new costume on. It's like that because he's 53.
53, yeah.
No, 52. Sorry, he was born in 71. I know that because he's the same birth year as my mother. I don't know why I remember that, but yes, it's like for 52 years old. Like the man is fucking gorgeous. And I'm not even like man crush. Okay,
aside.
Definitely because like why wouldn't you? It's David Tennant. But the man just, I don't know what deal, like him and Paul McGann have made a deal with the devil because where the fuck is the youth? Where has this fountain of youthful energy come from? It's great to see Donna because Catherine Tate was also on Eurovision because she was the English representative. When they give the points, like, and the 12 points from Great Britain go to so and so. She was the spokesperson for the UK.
Fair enough.
And that was to tie into the promotion. So that's very good from Russell. Like, just Also, it's like, where are all the people that love the camp and crazy? They're watching Eurovision, so let's show them this trailer.
Yeah, why not?
And she also, like, but she said Alonzi, like, when she, like, it's time to get on Alonzi, 12 points from the UK, go to...
Nice,
and it was like, everyone's like, she said the thing,
It's a code word, she's in it.
She said it.
Yeah, Alonzi.
I think it's weird that the titles were announced using the old time vortex. The 2005 to 2010 version. Someone said, like, it would be cool if, like, we're expecting a brand new thing and, like, it starts just like the old stuff did, and then you get the logo at the end, maybe.
Yeah,
and it goes into, like, and also that ties in with the toy maker putting it back to the way
how
things
it was.
Were,
yeah,
kind of on a meta level. So
yeah,
I look for, like, there's nothing I can't look forward to with these. Like, we know nothing. You get a brief glimpse of Yasmin Finney in like next to David for like a little bit as Rose.
Yeah,
and yeah, I'm intrigued. We don't know what's happening, where we're going.
Absolutely not. No,
but I think
no
me
idea.
and you could not be more excited for Doctor Who than we have in years. And that's,
amen to that.
That's no diss on the area that come before. It's just
%.
mainly down to we're actually getting trailers and marketing. Like,
there's actual hype generated
we're in May
now.
and we've got like 6 months until the specials. But we've had so much. We had the logo change as soon as, like, the production team changed over. You've had clips of Shooty. You've had him on interviews talking about the deal with Disney Plus and everything. Like, it's been everywhere.
Yeah,
like,
you can't escape Doctor Who.
We're getting a bit of everything, and it's nice. And I hope that the merchandise follows it. I want, even if it's a temporary one, the screwdriver that David has, that's all weird looking. Get one for Shooty. Get some more character options figures out. Get a more fucking, cheaper and more market accessible 14th Doctor that's not just in that big regeneration pack. Get them out there. Get some. This is the time to make your money off Doctor Who, BBC Worldwide. Do it.
Do it.
Like,
whether you like it or
I
not.
would. In the wake of that, I'd be like, and announce another collection box set.
Yes. It's due to be imminent any week, surely.
By the way, because of the new money coming in from Disney Plus, we've been able to put some money aside, and we're doing an animated reconstruction of Marco Polo. Like, do shit like that.
Yeah. Oh, damn, man.
We shall see, but
damn.
Doctor Who is in safe hands, just like Nike was in Air. I'll briefly go over it because I think you've talked about it before.
Yeah,
Air
a little bit.
Is in my upper echelons of my list for this year. You know how, like, I'd gone, like, these are good, but I know that there's but they could be better. But there's, like, a big gap between, like, there's the sort of the shit okay stuff, and then there's room
Air
for
was in the
more
top
stuff
5.
to come.
Air's up there.
It literally,
top 4 even.
It literally leapfrogs everything. At the moment, it's quite near the top.
Yeah.
It's so well made. Ben Affleck is a fantastic director. He does well as Phil, what's his face, the CEO of Nike, or Nike if you're going to be American.
Nike.
Matt Damon is fantastic, and for once he's not lost somewhere that we have to get him back from. You had a bit of a problem with the fact that we don't see much of Michael Jordan.
No problem. Yeah, it was just, I know it's Nike's story, but Michael Jordan's still the face, and I get if it's more of a personal choice, he didn't want to be in it, or he was just like, just don't have me in it. But again, they recast. We were teased
with the meetings, and, like, you see him from behind, you see him briefly from the front.
But again, to have him say no, I just found it a bit, and that took me out.
Did it? It kept me.
Took me
do you know why it kept me in? Because I think had it been Michael, like, I'm not a big American sports fan. Like, I see some of the stuff.
Hell no. Super Bowl, more like Super Owl.
Yeah. I like the NFL. Like, I have a team that I follow. I'm not as mad into it as I probably could be. Like, I went to watch the Super Bowl the year the first Doctor Strange trailer come out. 2022, that's the one. Like, the first teaser of, like, who's Doctor Strange?
Who's Doctor Strange?
Who's
Doctor Strange?
Like, I enjoy that. Like, when I was in America on holiday, like, 20 years ago nearly, like, I'd been to a New York Yankees game. Like, I enjoy, like, their sports are very fast and, like, sort of like got to get it all done kind of thing with, with basketball, with baseball, with American football. Soccer as well, to a point, is a bit sort of like, it's all spectacle and show. And this corner brought to you by Mountain Dew, and this halftime stat brought to you by Gatorade. But Michael Jordan transcends sport because he is one of the biggest athletes and probably one of the best athletes of all sport of all time. Like, him, Muhammad Ali. You'd argue for Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi, but
Mike Tyson.
Like boxer wise, I think Ali is the king. Like them certainly in that level, but I think he's the biggest star that's ever come out of basketball. Michael Jordan. I know Kobe, God rest his soul, was on that level and on that trajectory, and certainly would have been in the same conversation as Michael Jordan. And LeBron James someday maybe. I think I'm not big into American sports because it's the college system, and then that's it. It's like you have to follow so much, and it's very like
quite
people that do like I can take my hat off to you, but like for all the smarts those sports have, you've then got NASCAR when they just drive around in a circle for 5 hours.
Good luck to you.
But then that's meant to be really good, so maybe we need to indulge more American sport. Pasty sheep goes
Sporting.
Pasty USA.
Sport.
Pasty sheep in the USA. But yeah, like, and also you've had Space Jam, you've had Like Mike, you've had him transcend into other things, like, and also when you learn how much he makes off of the Air Jordan line, the rest is history. I found it quite touching, the Peter Moore tribute. Like, he sadly died like a month before this film was scheduled to begin production. And he's the one that had the idea to then replace the emblem with Michael Jordan in stance, like going up for a shot. And that is now the logo of every Air Jordan product. It's like, brilliant. Still, the man was always on the ball and ahead of his time, and a fantastic designer. You said it's the best Jason Bateman has ever Jason Bateman, and I think that is true.
His hair,
dodgy wig aside.
His hair was great. I loved his hair.
I love Jason Bateman in most things. Like, have you watched what's that fucking thing he's in? Why have I forgotten the name?
There's too many things to think about. What? Ozark?
That's the one.
No, I've not watched Ozark.
No. Watch Ozark.
I've watched Teen Wolf 2 recently.
Watch Ozark, because he is fabulous in it. It was just a really great, well-made film. It gave me, like I said to you, it gave me vibes of The Founder, and The Founder is one of my favourite films of all time now. Like, I first watched that, like, 2017, like a year after it come out. And, I love a slightly dramatised biopic, because obviously they're dramatised to fit the structure of a Hollywood film, because not everything happens in a certain specific order or act structure, because that's life. But it was done really well, and I loved it, and it taught me more about something that I knew very little. And for me, having Michael Jordan be in it would have detracted from it, because you just spent the whole time going, but we know what I know. Like with people playing other people, it's suspension of disbelief because they don't look exactly like them, or sometimes at all. But I think it would have been impossible to have Michael Jordan be in it and then for it not to be distracting, like if he's there front and centre. Because
I'm not even saying for him to be front and centre. I just wanted to be in the room and actually have a character. It's like having the Avengers and having Captain Ever and looking at America's arse. Would you have been better
had he not been at anything? Like, had he not been mentioned or seen?
Well, no, because then I would. Because then the little I know about the situation, been like, well, Michael Jordan's the face of night. Why wasn't he in the movie at all? I mentioned. It would have bugged me more if he wasn't in it. He needed to be in it and have maybe 2 lines of dialogue and have been like, okay, cool. The fact that he was in the room, you're the prime. You're not the prime because there's like 3 other leads. Viola Davis.
Viola Davis was fantastic.
Your arse is to the camera, and you're like, Michael. And not even a grunt. You just see like a. But that bothers me.
But also, then at that point in his career, he was a rookie. He'd never set foot on a professional NBA court. He was still in the college system.
Like, but he would have been in the fucking boardroom and would have actually spoke to people.
Yeah, but he's also like at that age. I think when I don't know if he's meant to be 18 or what in the movie.
Oh, I don't know.
But I think before a certain age, obviously, you would have to have a representative, and he would have been comfortable having. Obviously, he's got the lawyer there.
Spokesperson.
He's got his agent there, but also his agent's not going to speak on behalf of what he would personally want. So naturally, his mum and his dad would. Obviously, more his mum because his mum was quite an authoritative person, and the interview stuff you get at the end where he's like thanking her for things. You're like, his mum was a big part of his life, and like she helped him a lot, and obviously. You get the sense of that's what, when he was that age and that young, because obviously he would have been more involved himself, like in the NBA and beyond. So for me, it didn't detract at all. I think it was okay because I had, even when like I know they made a bit of a big deal about him talking at the end, it's like, oh yes, it's time, and then like as the conversation went on the phone.
That's the only things he says. Yeah, he's like, or whatever he says. Yeah, that's the only words he says. Yeah.
But no, I think maybe you could have talked a bit more. But I think having him in the film anymore would have been distracting, especially for the Michael Jordan fans in the room, because he's what's the fucking thing?
Universally beloved.
He's
iconic,
such a universally recognised. Thank you for actually pushing me in the right direction. Such a universally recognised man, figure, silhouette in terms of the logo.
Silhouette.
Like, you're gonna know. Like, but it's not him. And I know you're not meant to, but that would have been more of a thing. I think Ben Affleck thought we'll just avoid doing that, and he directed the shit out of this movie for a film that takes place predominantly in like 4 locations.
4 rooms. Yeah, 4 rooms. Yeah. Board meetings. Yeah.
I liked it. And I like a film that ends with the and here's what they did in real life.
And here's what happens afterwards. Yeah.
And I like that it ended with, and he became the greatest basketball player of all time, and then like it had the stuff of him, the clips of him thanking his mum. And it was like, that's sweet. Sweet, to the point. Not that long either. It was just under 2 hours, 115 minutes.
Something like that, yeah.
Fantastic.
Slightly longer than Ben Affleck's film last night, unlimited showing of Hypnotic.
Did you like it?
If it wasn't for the twist, then probably no. But I'll get into that next week.
Oh, saucy bagger, because you said the Flash threatens to derail the good year of Ben Affleck.
Well, no, I think Hypnotic might have done it. No. Don't know.
But, we've got a month until the film that's holding 2 Batmen, 3, because we know that apparently George Clooney is in it.
He's not in it.
When he's in it, when he's in it, okay. We are going to fucking come on here and you're going to apologise to the audience and to me.
You just want George because you want your name in the movie, technically. No, all Georges in the world are representative of George. Pacey Sheep, Trademark Limited, copyrighted.
Ideally, I would want Val Kilmer to be in it. Val
Kilmer, yes.
But
that
physically, it's not able to happen.
No, it won't happen.
And because now suddenly the Joel Schumacher universe is different from the Michael Keaton universe, George Clooney is the only obvious choice, because we can't have Christian Bale back.
Why not? He's more likeable than George Clooney.
He's a fucking arsehole in real life. He's a great actor, but he's an arsehole. But and plus that would just be
he could be the hierarchy.
I wouldn't be surprised if he was in it. Oh, do you remember how good The Dark Knight was? Oh, fuck off. Stop sucking Chris Nolan's dick. I wouldn't.
But he's not in Oppenheimer, isn't he? I don't think he's in it at all.
No, he's not in any Chris
trailers
Nolan
stuff. What?
You talking about Christian Bale in Oppenheimer?
Yeah, and just Christopher Nolan in general.
Oh, I'll see Oppenheimer, but
I say he's not. He's one of the few A-list actors that's not in a Nolan movie.
Yeah,
because when I think Nolan, I think Christian.
He's not one of the regulars though. He's not like Michael Caine. Like Cillian Murphy's been in a few. Tom Hardy.
Well, but Downey Jr. ain't been in any.
Yeah, but he always brings on Patterson hadn't been in any before.
Who is actually in Oppenheimer? Because the new trailer came out for that. There's so many fucking people.
When No Way Home was happening, it's like, the Batman version, and it was Affleck, Bale, and Patterson, and it's like, that's the most ineffective Batman team I think I've ever seen. Like, they wouldn't work together. They would all fucking argue. Patterson would probably get the most done. Because anytime fucking Bale did work, he was Batman for 2 years, and then spent 8 years in hiding. And then did it for 1 day and then pretended to die.
Something's in the way.
I love The Dark Knight. It's a fabulous film. The Dark Knight Rises is a bit of shit. And the Dark Knight trilogy as a whole is very good. But it birthed the whole, let's do super serious, dark, gritty Superman. The man full of hope from space. Let's make him dark, gritty and broody. You fucking idiots. No wonder the universe was started off on a bad foot. Fuck you. And it fed Chris Nolan's ego, because he made The Dark Knight and it was really good, and Warner Brothers went, you can make anything you want and we'll give you hundreds of millions of dollars. And then he fucking got on his high horse like, Tenet must be seen in the cinemas, you must come and see my new creation.
Well, Dunkirk first. You can't skip Dunkirk.
No, Dunkirk was good, but then when Tenet, pandemic wise,
of course,
it has to be seen in the cinema. You have to see what I, Chris Nolan, have created. And it was it was okay, but my enjoyment of it was quelled by the fact that this guy's a fucking dickhead.
Yeah, you're an arse.
He makes good stuff, but fuck me. Memento and Dark Knight aside, what have you actually done that's good for cinema?
With your life.
I wouldn't be surprised if they snuck Patterson into the Flash. You know, like the sequence in the Flash where we're going to get basically like a vortex, and there's going to be, you know,
Batman in the background,
mini movie player clips of like these different things.
Superman Legacy. That's where you're going to get Nick Cage, just a photo of his wig.
No, imagine if you got you've got the Superman Lives.
Yeah.
And then you've got like James Gunn doing costume tests for Superman Legacy. Like, whoa, we're not meant to see this. Stop recording me. Get out my office, Ezra, you bastard. But I wouldn't be surprised if Patterson was like in there for a split second because they know he's the most popular Batman at the minute. Like,
sure.
We're already holding 2 Batmen to ransom. Let's hold a third.
Technically in the movie.
And then a fourth that no one really cares about, but fuck you if you're going to get some reprieve for George Clooney. What you want is Andrew Garfield levels of forgiveness and actual nice ending to his story. But you know what you're going to get? You're going to get fuck all. We're going to hold him up like Fantastic Mr. Fox's tail, and we're going to parade it around like a fucking trophy.
Oh, I didn't know Christopher Nolan was directing The Flash.
Fuck you, Chris Nolan, and fuck you, Warner Brothers. I'm out. I'm done.
Brilliant.
God, I'm done. Close the episode. I've annoyed myself.
Well, this is why you don't flash, folks. Flash. Go flash yourself. Just stay pasty. Spread love and cheer to the galaxy, and be its guardians. And whatever you do, just don't be the Flash. Just don't be an Ezra. If your name's Ezra, get your name changed. I'm sorry. Follow us across all the social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the TikTok at Pacey Sheep. And then if you want to send us an electronic mail to me, or definitely not Christopher Nolan's inbox, then email nerdbiblecontact.
Fuck off, Chris!
Email fuckoffchris@gmail.com. That is probably someone's email. Email nerdbiblecontact@gmail.com. Hashtag fuck off, Chris.
Chris Nolan, not everyone called Chris. None of the Hollywood Chris's apart from Chris Pratt.
Pine.
I love Chris Pine.
Chris Fine.
Chris Fine.
Chris Meh.
Do you know what? I'm going to buy Dungeons and Dragons when it comes out. I'm going to watch it. And I'm probably going to enjoy it a lot more than most of the films I've seen this
probably,
year.
yes.
Certainly more than fucking Tenet.
Because that was back in 2023.
Just going to be really annoying. I'm going to go see Oppenheimer. I'm going to enjoy it. And then always going to... Oh, the fucking awards. Oh, Oppenheimer's so good. Oh, let's all wank off Chris Nolan. Fuck you.
Come on, Barbie. Let's go party. Barbie for the win. Come on, let's go.